Hello, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Bishop Rachael for Wednesday, the 21st of May, I believe it is. Beautiful month. I love this. They say April showers bring May flowers. I'm kind of hoping that May showers will bring June flowers. It's pretty dry up here in Brandon. We need the rain, although there are lots of places that have had the water has been overflowing in some places. I think it's from runoff and things like that. But whatever our farmers need, that's what we'll pray for. Also for our forest fires, we need some rain because we've got quite a few of those raging right now as well. So please pray for all those who are impacted by that and those people who are helping to fight those fires. One of the gifts we have, I believe there's some American firefighters up here right now helping us out. So, even when things are going kind of sideways in the world, humanity still comes together. And that's amazing, isn't it? One of the ways that I've been thinking about humanity coming together is reading a book that Rob gave me for Christmas. He gives me lots of hockey books and bestsellers at the time of Christmas. He goes in and picks off the whole top of that big thing they have in the front of Coles or Indigo or Chapters. And the book I'm reading right now, and it's been taking me for a while, it's good, but it's kind of dense, is Angela Merkel's Freedom. She was the Chancellor of Germany for many, many years. And I thought it would be, I didn't think I'd like her this much. I really do like her. And I'm surprised by that. I like being surprised by things, especially when I'm the one who, what do they say about assumptions? He makes an ass out of you and me. Sometimes my assumptions make a bigger ass out of me. And I'm glad that this one was one of them. But she's got this really interesting quote. She's talking about what happened with the mortgage bubble in 2008 and the U.S. Bringing down the world economy. That it was and remember, she's speaking from a German perspective and from the European Union, which was relatively new, and they were fighting hard to make sure that what was happening in North America, especially the States, wouldn't happen in the EU. What was happening, but how could they, limit the desperation? And she says here she said. It was lovely to look back to the past, yet at the same time I couldn't quite believe my eyes. Babies born on November 9th, 1989, were now celebrating their 20th birthday, and this is the 20th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. 20 years when she was talking about this, when just after everything that crashed, the market crash in 2008, a year later was the 20th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, which people never thought would happen. And she was saying that those babies who were born on November 9th, 1989, when the wall came down, were now 20 years old. And she said, and there were more than enough new problems to solve. As I'd heard Henry Kissinger saying the night before at a conference at the Hotel Adlon, every solution to a problem brings with it a ticket to new difficulties. At first I read that, I thought, oh, for heaven's sakes, Henry Kissinger, you stick in the mud? How awful. What a thing to say. Every solution to a problem brings with it a ticket to new difficulties. Because the thing is, we are not meant to be people who, for everything is just tickety-boo, that everything just hums along and every once in a while we run across that problem or that concern that stops us up short. We aren't meant to be people for whom everything is easy. And I'm not just trying to talk about, I'm not trying to talk in Pollyanna terms, or not trying to talk about, that somehow in some existential world of our faith and the fact that we are human beings who, separate from the rest of the mammals and animals of the planet, that somehow because we are more evolved or something than they are, that of course, then we shouldn't have problems. Well, why not? If you look at any other mammal, any other animal in the world, and their day is filled with these problems. Eat or be eaten. I mean, very few animals, other than domesticated animals, like our pet dogs and cats and stuff, have a life in which they aren't challenged every day. And who are we to think that we shouldn't be challenged? I mean, some of the challenges we face, it would be really nice if they could just get fixed and we could move on to something else. That would be great. Something easier. But the fact is that we should never be unchallenged. Thinking about things like when we go on holidays. How many of you, now I might be weirdo, but how many of you, when you go on holidays, are bored stiff by day 4. It doesn't matter how hard you work or don't work. You get out of the house, you go to the beach, you go skiing, you do whatever it is you do, and you start to realize, I'm kind of used to my problems. I'm kind of used to the rhythm of answering the phone and dealing with this situation and having to handle this crisis or discover how to fix this problem for my kids or all of these things. Then when your biggest problem is the kids saying, I'm bored, when you're sitting in a theme park, it takes on new meaning, doesn't it? But this idea that for every solution to a problem brings with it a ticket to new difficulties. And it's not about the old problem, because once you have a solution to that problem, there's no longer a problem anymore. You set that aside. Okay, that has been dealt with. But now you have a ticket for new difficulties, because that's who we are. That is who we are as people, as human beings. We are called upon to deal with the complexities of life. And that, I think, is something that makes us alive, helps us to remember that we are alive and well and kicking when we do have those complexities, when we do have tickets to new problems. The problems don't have to be massive. We're not talking about, nuclear war or something. We could be, but most of us don't have to worry about that ourselves. That's more of an existential problem again, of course. But for most of us, we probably have some issues at work that, show themselves up as difficulties. Or maybe some family issues, raising children, or not being able to see our grandchildren, or maybe some health issues. But where would we be if we never had a difficulty? Where would we be if we never had to problem solve? I mean, I can't imagine life without having to puzzle things out. Because the truth is, isn't life just a series of puzzles? We figure things out. We learn to read. We learn to put all of those letters, the symbols, which we begin to learn are letters, and we put all those letters together in the puzzles that make up words. And then those puzzles of words make up sentences and paragraphs in books, like this one. And those things then open our minds so we can understand bigger puzzles. Now, I know some people don't like puzzles. I'm kind of fond of puzzles. I haven't got a lot of patience for the puzzles pieces. But when it comes to mind puzzles or mind experiments, things like that, thought experiments, I love those. I love those kinds of wondering, what if you did this? Or what if that happened? Or what if X, Y, and Z hadn't happened and A, B, and C did? What would the world look like now? Those kind of hypotheticals. For some people, that's their bread and butter. That's where they live. For some people, it's their hobby. But I think for every one of us, if we're honest with ourselves, we puzzle out our lives. We figure things out as we go. For some people, it seems to be really easy to figure those puzzles out. For some people, not so easy. For some people, it's really difficult. But for those people who find puzzles or the puzzling out of life really difficult, there are probably a few other things that they just get. A friend of mine here has some deals with autism and ADHD and a few things like that. And when they talk about that in the comments and when they've shared with me things like that, I've also noticed that they have an incredible sense of humor. And they have a completely unique perspective of the way they look at life is a little bit different, that shines light on things that I would never be able to see. So even when it seems like, the world is set against us, there's something about you, there's something about each of us that brings something to the puzzled world that the world needs. So if you're one of those folks who really struggles with puzzles, who really gets frustrated at Kissinger's idea that every solution to a problem brings with it a ticket to new difficulties, if that's something that bothers you, then remember that you have the solution to somebody else's problem. You just maybe haven't met up with them yet, or they haven't asked the right question yet. We need to puzzle through life. It's important. And the way we figure that out, the way we deal with our puzzles is as unique to each of us as we are ourselves. So as you're going about your day and you're puzzling things out and you're discovering the solution to this problem and discovering that when you tidy that up and put a bow on it and say that problem is complete, you're going to find there's a whole array of tickets on your table that say, here, pick up another problem. Have fun with it. Pick your tickets wisely and enjoy the puzzle of figuring out how to deal with it. Enjoy your puzzles today. God bless. I'll see you again tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel.